Sports with Rock and Manooch, now on Fox Sports 910.
All right, Cardinals have the 49ers, Bears, Eagles, and Seahawks left on their schedule. San Francisco, Philly are the Super Bowl contenders of that group. Chicago's 4-8 right now, and they'll have the advantage of playing at Soldier Field on Christmas Eve. Then they close out at home against Seattle. So it's going to be rough for the Cardinals as they finish the season. Frank Sanders now joins us on the Right Toyota guest line. So, when you were on a bye week, how focused were you to get back on the field the following week?
Not at all.
Really?
Yeah, not at all, man. The bye week always came seemingly at the right time for us. I think there was one season I played that the bye week was like week 3. Most of the time I was with the Cardinals, it was always after like game 7. We needed it at that time. You guys, well documented that I was on a lot of losing teams with the Cardinals, unfortunately.
No,
So
wait, Frank. Wait,
Not us.
No,
Not us.
you come on. Really?
Well, I didn't feel like I was on a losing team, but the record reflected it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Frank, you got to remember, I had to talk about those seasons with you.
Nobody
Pre-game,
cares,
post-game.
Jimmy. I mean, Manooch.
That's the thing there as well on top of that whole thing. Yeah, we had to that. Now, all that being said, when you think about those days, I thought you guys used to come back refreshed and ready to go and jacked up to finish the season strong with those 4 and 5 win seasons.
No, the guys, when we got back, I mean, here's the thing, when you already know you're having a losing season and it's bad, there's only a couple of other things you can focus on, and that's finishing in regards to you want to finish strong and you want to try to meet your own personal goals that you've already set for the season. I mean, if I was my receiver goals typically was 75 catches or more and 1,000 yards, at least 7 touchdowns was always my goal going into it, depending on, as the quarterback situation got better and the offensive line situation got better, I would always bump my expectations up because I thought those were numbers that was possible. So I'm pretty sure the guys right now that still have an opportunity to go out and really try to, solidify themselves in regards to their contracts coming up. So, again, we're always talking about they're not just they're auditioning for 31 other teams if there's a scenario that presents themselves for those guys. So, but for me, I would come back always ready to go and see what we can do and how we can turn the ship around.
I thought it was interesting. I remember the season when Boomer was on the team, and you and Boomer, was it the last game against the Redskins you guys had? You had, I don't know, like 25 catches for 2,000 yards and like 4 touchdowns, and Boomer threw for like 475 or something like that. Was that one of those motivations, to your point right there, for incentives to abound? And I just got to ask you, did you get Boomer a commission for all those throws to you that day?
Boomer had his own commissions that he had to reach. He had a lot of stats that in his contract that was Boomer's situation that was really good for him. But it was great to have him because he was a veteran leader. He knew exactly what it felt like to be in those moments. Yeah. And honestly, that Washington Redskins game was a crazy game. It was nothing that defensively that we could do to stop their offense because they just kept putting up points. But Boomer kept getting on the field, man, and just taking us down the field as a leader and throwing, making all the right decisions. So it was a great day for all the receivers involved, me, Rob Moore, Marcus Dowdell, Anthony Edwards in that moment. And I think that's just something when you look at the season like this, guys. And again, this is, Rock, you said it eloquently. They got the 49ers, the Bears, the Eagles, and the Seahawks. And after this one-game winning streak that the Cardinals been on after beating the Steelers, it's a gauntlet for these guys to go through. And we look back at the season, you look at the teams that we faced. It was a gauntlet from the beginning. And not having Kyler definitely has shown to be a tough hill to climb for the Cardinals this season.
All right, Frank. So coming off what we witnessed against the Steelers in Pittsburgh, and you talked about Boomer being that veteran leader, is Kyler Murray, in your estimation, now that veteran leader, and will it be his job to get everybody set to go against the 49ers, even though you're 13.5 underdog in that game?
Well, I mean, I don't know, okay, you'd have to pull Dan Marino and Dan Fouts out of the stands right now in regards to, you playing the 49ers. Like, this is not like this is one of the best teams in the NFL right now. But I will say this, Kyler's got 3 games on his belt with this group. They know, the offense coordinator knows what they have in him and what they can do. We saw what they did against the Steelers, which was they ran the ball. They was effective. He was efficient on third downs, which is something they have not been throughout the season. I think the guys in that huddle can look at him in the face and see what kind of warrior they have, what kind of leader they have in Kyler. It looks like these guys are kind of trying to gel and band together for, at least what we've seen the last couple of games. And these next 4 games they're going to need that. And he has to be the leader that comes in with a sense of purpose, a sense of understanding that he doesn't have to win the game by himself. He doesn't have to use his legs to run around all day, but he has to be able to make solid and good decisions as the quarterback in order to put those guys in the right spot to walk away with victory.
All right, so riddle me this, Batman. With Marquise Brown questionable, looks like Wilson will probably out again. The lack or ineffectiveness of Rondale Moore, and you saw what Seattle did with Metcalf and that group of receivers. They threw the ball fairly well. I thought Luck did a good job. Right now, there's really no receiver / outside passing game aside from the tight ends, which is good, Trey McBride and Swaim. But if you're limited, where are you going to find any kind of passing game against this vaunted San Francisco defense?
Everything you said makes it, a hill to climb. Just on the onset, knowing you're not going in there with all your players. I will say this here, though. This is when you got to have, the creativity of play calling, putting guys in the best position, trying to find the slightest weakness in this defense. And the only thing you can really hope is that the 49ers come in here thinking that they've already got a W under their belt. And they come in thinking, like the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got a warm team coming into a cold environment, and you're hoping that, they're not ready to play. But that's the only thing the Cardinals can really hope for right now, that the 49ers come in and think that they already got a W, but the Cardinals come up with a great game plan that can put some points on the board and try to stop those guys from scoring.
Frank, I had to bring it up. You talked about all those receivers. One receiver you did not mention, and he needs to be mentioned because he was also a hell of a running back, was Larry Centers. Mm-hmm. Got to have him in that conversation, right? He was a great receiver.
LC was the best one, man. LC led the league 3 years in a row as the top running back or fullback, considered fullback in the NFL for 3 straight years. Everyone, they chanted Larry after Larry Wilson, and I don't even know how many people chanted Larry Wilson's name, the great Hall of Famer, but Larry Centers was the heartbeat of our team, man. If there was a veteran that I emulated and wanted to be like, it was Larry Centers, even though he was a fullback. That guy had an engine that wouldn't stop. He loved the Cardinals. He loved playing in the NFL. An underdog guy, but Larry had 100+ catches, man, 1 year out of the fullback position, and I think it's he made our offense go. He was always the guy that, there's so much. He was always the guy that could make a play when we needed a play. And that's one thing you'd always remember about LC.
Were you part of F. Austin?
Yeah, very good. Were you part of that year they had a bye, the first game of the season, Frank?
I was. It came right. Look, man, the NFL.
Would you need a break after training camp?
Shit.
That's the hell.
So stupid.
It was.
Look, the NFL and the scheduling committee, man, looked at us and said, we can give them a bye right after training camp because they need another week to get it together.
What an embarrassment that was. Was there another team or was it just the Cardinals?
It was the Cardinals.
They were the only one, only the Phoenix Cardinals at the time.
Cardinals. That was it. The bye.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It was so fun, man. And it's look. You can't make this stuff up.
No. Hey, is Larry Centers still the all-time leading running back catching the ball out of the backfield or fullback out of the backfield? Do you happen to know?
Now that I saw Larry just this past weekend, man, over the Cardinals charity event, and he still walks around like he's the booger with the sugar. So I would definitely say yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Frank, thanks, buddy. Have a good week.
All right, brother. You guys have the same, my man.
And you can
Take care.
follow Frank on Twitter at FrankSanders81. So appreciate him coming on. Today, brought to you by the Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar, where we're at here, a sports fan's paradise. You can bet the game, watch the game. The Sportsbook here at the CAZ Sports Bar. They have 3 live betting windows, 6 self-service betting kiosks, plus 8 screens displaying all the betting lines. Check it out for yourself. It's open daily from 8 to 11 p.m. That's 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. here at Casino Arizona. We'll tell you what's on tap tonight. It's coming up in just about an hour and 15 minutes. Plus today's State 48 Roofing It's Your Call results. But first, we'll have football at 50. Thanks for joining us today. It's Rock and Minuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
Clear. This is The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Chris, we talked about this earlier this year, and I know I'm not trying to